Hi guys, Leroy Brown here. It's been a while since I've made a video, but I've got some good news. My video channel on YouTube is back up, Ice Cubes TV. It's a strange story. I don't know what happened, but Google blocked the account for over 2 years. I couldn't get in. It was impossible to get in. I tried all my passwords. I tried to message Google on Twitter. I tried sending emails. They wouldn't let me in. I don't know what happened. I don't know why, but all of a sudden, recently, for some reason, I decided to try again, and I was able to get in. Anyway, I'm in the process of inking a Ice Cubes comic strip, and I just sort of had an idea of something I wanted to do and for this video, and I figured I'd go ahead and try it out. I know that I've been off the air for a while, and also Ice Cubes has kind of been quiet for a long time. I think a lot of things sort of happened, you know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. A lot of things changed in the web comics arena. And so I'll do another video about all that, and we can talk about that. And leave your comments down below. Now that the channel's back up, we can start to communicate again. And I hope that you'll enjoy these videos where I get to talk about comics, and I get to talk about Ice Cubes, and you get to see a little bit behind the scenes and get to ask me questions. So Ice Cubes is back. I'm publishing once a week right now, and the response has been great. I've been getting a lot of new readers. I really appreciate it, and it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that I was able to do that. The reason why I took a break from publishing Ice Cubes was because a couple of things happened. I think one of the things was that the viewership just kind of dropped, and this kind of happened after 2016. All the websites, social media websites, kind of changed their algorithms sort of in lockstep. It was very weird. There used to be a website called StumbleUpon, which actually was very favorable to webcomics, and a lot of people discovered webcomics through StumbleUpon, and Ice Cubes was one of those comics where we would get lots of visitors from StumbleUpon, and all of a sudden overnight the view count dropped to 0, and it was because StumbleUpon changed their algorithm. And in short order, then Twitter and Facebook also changed their algorithms. So what happened is that you no longer got people you followed or topics that you followed in your feed. The feeds were sort of full of random stuff, stuff that I guess these companies thought was, you know, important to push, but that was to the detriment of independent publishers like myself, where my stuff was no longer being seen because obviously, you know, we don't have the clout that these big other sort of publishers have, and our stuff just wasn't being pushed anymore, not even to our followers. So, you know, even though, you know, Ice Cubes had a lot of followers, both on Twitter and Facebook, like 2,000 followers, it just wasn't getting pushed anymore. Like, I would post something on Twitter and it would just be ignored. Like, I would get no likes, no views. Also, the retweets used to be a big deal on Twitter and Follow Fridays. All these things were really great ways to reach our audience. And so we were doing that until they changed the algorithms. And that happened late 2016, 2017. And it was just like a war of attrition. At that point, the the view counts just dropped precipitously, and you know, I was getting fewer and fewer and fewer visits to the website, and it was just like that coincided with the publication of my second book. And my second book did sell out, and that's thanks to a couple of conventions that I went to, and thanks to, and I'll give thanks to our local comic book shop called Bedrock City Comics. And they bought a lot of Ice Cube's books, both Volume 1 and Volume 2, and we sold out of Volume 2 very quickly thanks to that. And you know, I have to thank Richard personally. He's always been a great supporter of Ice Cubes, which is fantastic. I mean, I love the fact that Ice Cubes is for sale in real comic book stores in several cities, you know. And so we're really happy about that. And that really was a great plus. But our online audience really dwindled. And so once Volume 2 got sold out, I sort of was not getting any sort of response from the website anymore. And it just felt like the website was an exercise in futility. And also another thing happened, which was the template that I use, which was called Comic Press, the author of that template sort of went AWOL, and he had been a huge help also in getting Ice Cubes to look great, to work great on the internet. And you know, he the gentleman who was responsible for Comic Press did a lot for the web comics community back then. And then, I don't know, he sort of stopped, and that was a shame, because we sort of, I use we collectively because there are a couple other webcomics authors that I know use the same template. We sort of didn't have that resource anymore. And so the website started not working, WordPress kept updating, and our templates just weren't working properly anymore. And it just became a headache, you know, and everything combined. Plus the fact that there was no way to make any money. There was even no way to promote any books or any merchandise, because no one was visiting anymore. So it just became a little bit crazy, and so I reached a stage where I just kind of got burnt out, and so I got to Ice Cubes number 300. Which was a real milestone for me, and I was super happy about that. But I just, at that point, got burnt out. And so unfortunately, and this is not something I'm happy about, but the strip went dormant. And, you know, I really was not sure of the future of the strip at all. I thought, well, you know, I gave it my best shot. And we did a great job for several years. Published 2 books, and went to a bunch of conventions. Met a bunch of people. Had a bunch of fans. It was really fantastic. Met a bunch of other authors, artists, webcomic, and traditional comic artists. And so. You know, I thought, well, maybe that's just the end of the cycle, and a lot of other web comics also went dormant at about the same time, and I think it has to do really with the fact that the social media and the whole internet really kind of morphed. Independent websites were not being visited anymore, and there was no way to promote them because all the social media was gated and shadow banned, and so independent publishers were really kind of left with no recourse for getting views on their websites. So that became that became part of the problem. Now, I think a couple other things that I haven't been following very closely, but a couple other things happened, which were that in terms of webcomics, there's two ways to publish webcomics. One is, and I tried all of them in the early stages of IceCubes. One is to publish on an aggregator, and there's a couple aggregators out there, and in the early days there were aggregators that would come and go. So it would take time to set up on the aggregator. You'd have to start an account, and then you'd have to drive traffic to that particular account, and then so it was, and then the aggregator would drop out, or just wasn't promoting the site or whatever, and so then it would be like another wasted effort, and then you'd have to find another one and go to another one. So I did that a couple of times, and I was like, forget it. I'm just going to stick to my own website and try to make my website as good as possible, and that's what I did. So when the aggregators became a problem, I focused on just making my website as good as I possibly could. Of course, I'm not a coder or anything, so I relied on help from some really great guys and other webcomic artists as well. And so we had a little community, but that just somehow broke up. Now, what ended up happening, in my opinion, is not necessarily exactly what happened, but it's my opinion that some webcomics or a certain style of webcomics prevailed, and that's sort of the manga style of webcomic. I'm not going to get into that too much, but that sort of prevailed and sort of took over. But there's about a bunch of other webcomics that were very popular that kind of faded away, and it's IceCubes was never up in that same echelon, but we suffered as well. So anyway, IceCubes is back now, and that's thanks to two things. One thing is that I found another template and great support for this template. The template's called Too Cheeky, and the coder, the author of that template, Brian, is a great webcomic supporter, and he's been able to help me design the new IceCubes website, which is now mobile friendly. So I think that's also a thing that happened, which was that a lot of people stopped visiting websites from their computers and started going to the web on their phones. Now, as you know, IceCubes is a traditional style comic strip, so it was in a horizontal format with the panels running along horizontally. So I had to adjust, and I have to say it's an interesting adjustment, but I had to adjust the strip to fit a vertical format. So I'm still in the process of doing that, so I'm not sure how that goes. But now, since IceCubes is mostly dedicated to being viewed on mobile phones, because that's where most of our viewers are coming from, the strip is presented both horizontally and vertically. So yeah, it gives me more work, but I'm thrilled to have new readers like this, and I think the strip looks great on a phone. If you're watching, tell me what device you used to read the strip on, and tell me if you think that the new vertical option on the phone works well for you. So anyway, that's it for now. I'll probably do another video on this topic because it's a important topic, I think. There's a lot to talk about. But anyway, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for reading IceCubes. Remember, the website is icecubescomic.com. And stay stay tuned for more updates, more contests. I'm doing commissions now. You can order your commissions at the store. Just go on the website and look up the store. And yeah, and stay in touch. I'm still on Facebook and Twitter as well. Twitter at Peck and Paw, Facebook Ice Cubes Comic, and at Peck and Paw as well. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you soon.